when was the next time you kind of dove into the investment space, and what did that look like? And then when did you decide that it was time to kind of get into the sales side of things and really helping other people achieve their real estate goals through home ownership or selling their properties?
So I got into the car business in 2012, and by the time 2016 rolled around, I was completely burned out. I was really good at car sales, just because I had a lot of life experience by that time, because I've hit every hard knock that you could possibly hit. And so I had a lot of life experience, and I had built up a really good customer base in the car business. And so I just took that customer base and I transferred it over to the
Hmm.
real estate business. And in that, I said, there are two, like my first flyer that went out to everybody, because when you first get into real estate, you have no clients, you have nothing. And so my first flyer that went out said, there are two major purchases that you make in your life. One is your car, and the other one's your house. I've already sold you your car, so why not sell you your house too? And it worked. A lot of people were like, you know
Yeah.
what, you're right. And so they came over and they started buying real estate. So I got actually a really good start in the beginning, because I brought my client list over from the car business to real estate business. But in the real estate business, I realized, one, I still had a passion for real estate investments. Like at this point in
Hmm.
time in real estate, when I got in, I was just helping people buy and sell their houses and things like that.
Sure.
It's a process, especially when you're working with buyers. You're going around to all the houses. There's a lot of time spent. Sometimes people go through 10 or 15 houses before they even find the one that they're interested in.
Right.
You're seeing all these opportunities out here as you're walking along. You're seeing, this boarded up house, that boarded up house, or this undervalued house. And you're like, why isn't anybody going after this? And I was actually doing that with my clients. I had the wrong idea about what a person wanted, when they're looking for the house they want to buy. Me, in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, we could buy this house over here. It's undervalued. Yeah, it needs a couple of things, a little bit of work, but look at the equity that you're going to have in it. And they're looking at me like, are you crazy? Like, I don't want to buy this house. I want to buy this house over here. And so, after going back and forth with customers that way for a little while, I said, you know what? I'm here for what you're looking for. But then I also felt like, I really wasn't helping anyone. And so, I started to move away from regular real estate and over to more helping people that were, maybe poor people, low credit, people that didn't qualify for normal loans. I found out about a program called NACA that would help people,
Hmm.
that didn't have good credit and wanted to buy a house still and everything. So I started working with those kind of programs, and helping the people to understand like what real estate really is. Real estate is supposed to be an asset. Real estate is really an investment tool for you. It's not something, in my opinion, it's not something that you're supposed to fall in love with. It's not a
Sure.
puppy. It's not a baby. It's here to advance your life and advance your finances, advance your wealth. And so, working with people through NACA, I was able to help some people understand that and get along those lines as far as building wealth and things. And then I just from that continue to transition all the way into investments.
Yeah. You bring up a great point. We call them equity buyers versus emotional buyers.
Hmm.
The emotional buyer is the one that's going to walk in and love the granite countertops and the updated bathroom, and overpay, in today's market. And overpay is relative, right? In today's market,
Right.
doesn't mean overpaying in 10 years from now. But and then the equity. I'm more of your mindset, right? Like, I don't believe in forever homes.
Yeah.
Every house is an investment, whether it's 5 years from now, 2 years from now, or 15 years from now.
Right.
Are we buying the right property for what you're going to want to do next?
Right.
Hey, I know you're thinking about buying this, but is this house going to be able to sell? When you move out in 7 years.
Right.
Um,
I don't think people realize how many times they've paid for their house after they paid that 30-year mortgage. You go into a 30-year mortgage and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to have this house paid off in 30 years and it's going to be all mine. Right. But no
yeah,
one's really looking at the numbers. How at the end of that 30-year mortgage, how much have you really paid for that
yeah,
$250,000 house that you just bought, right? And you're like, oh well, at the end of it, I sold it for $200,000. or I'm sorry, $400,000, but yeah, you've got $350,000 into it. You know,
Right.
even though your price tag said $250,000 after you've paid the mortgage and the fees and stuff over 30 years, guess what? You've paid $350,000. So you've made a gain of 50 grand. Congratulations. But if you would have bought the house right in the beginning, that equity or that payoff would have been much larger. Plus, there's some other tricks inside there where you can pay off your mortgage much faster. So you're not paying, there's a lot of things that are inside that people aren't looking at. And who am I to tell you, what you should be doing as far as how you buy your house and what you love and all that kind of stuff. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, I'm your best friend because I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, when you got out of the car business to transition into real estate, this is a question that I always ask because, a lot of times, obviously, you were probably more in a commission-based industry before, but a lot of times people are leaving corporate America or they're leaving a salary or a W-2 position where they have a set pay and jumping into 100% commission. And that world's completely different, right?
Yes. Yes.
When you decided to switch, because you said you had success in the car business, and hey, burnt out, I'm done with it, right? And I'm going to move over here. Did you have supporters? Did you have doubters? Who was in your corner? Who wasn't in your corner? When you made that decision.
Oh, 100% doubters. I make great money in the car business. They're they're like, "What are you doing? Are you insane? Like, you're like one of the top salespeople, in this industry, and you're making, mad dollars and things." And in my opinion, yes, I was making good money, but who was I helping? You know, I thought that I was making a difference in helping people. They used to call my desk compassion motors, by the way, because I would
Okay,
take care of the people who, had questionable credit and they couldn't necessarily buy the car. They had to go through secondary loans to get their cars and stuff like that. But I would help put the pieces together for them to be able to get their cars. But as those people were coming in and buying their cars and then coming back to me to buy a brand new car, I was thinking, like, the cars, as soon as you drive them off the lot, they lose value like immediately,
sure.
And so, am I really helping them, or am I helping myself? And so, I just thought, like, I would rather be in a position where I'm helping people more. I wanted to be in a more honest business. I felt like at the time, I wanted to be in a more honest business. I wanted to be in a business where I was making more of a difference and helping people to build real wealth. And this probably goes all the way back to like the beginning of the story where I told you that the first half of my life was in a really rough,
Yeah,
area. And then my mom did everything that she could to get us out into the suburbs, which then changed my entire life. And so I was thinking, like, if I could do that for more people,
yeah,
then look at how much better their lives could be. Look at the difference that it could make. Look at, how their kids turn out now. And so,
yeah,
it was a very big factor for me. I didn't have a whole lot of support, but I had savings. I saved while everybody else was going to the clubs and popping bottles and things like that with all the money that they were making, from the car sales, buying BMWs, Mercedes, Lexuses. I had a little Honda that I drove. I worked for Honda, so I had a little Honda that I drove and, um, saved my money, and I was able to transition into the real estate business a lot easier than what most other people would be able to.
yeah.